Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are like, whoa, wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, what happened? Did we go up in class? No. This is the long haul. This is the longer podcast, or a podcast version of my shit. I'm going to do some housekeeping. I'm going to talk about some shit I've done, what I'm doing, what I'm excited about, what's coming in, what came in, etc., etc. And I'll have a nice recipe at the end. This recipe, man, if you make this, you will be the king of the party. People will shit their pants in a good way. And every time you come to a party, they'll expect you to make it. So be prepared. This is how you Sean Connery yourself. And when I say when you Sean Connery yourself, it means Sean Connery was the best Bond. He was also the first Bond. And he set the bar too high, and everybody that came in after was just hot garbage. All right, first, maybe it's not really clear, but the name that I use for this is Dead Mayo. Why that? Well, I needed to have a cool name that didn't have numbers when I created a PSN account. And sure enough, nobody called himself Dead Mayo. Why Mayo? Well, it's because I used the same logic to get my brother name. And his was actually really good. It was Ketchup Terrorist. And I'm like, oh my god, I was such a genius in the early 2000s. But that's neither here nor there. That's what I call myself, and I like it. The reason for the anonymity, I should really write that word down, is because there are a lot of bitches out there. We know that, there's a reason that some people can't show their face. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't lose my job for holding the views that I hold, but my girlfriend is in the fields where she could probably lose hers, maybe. She's constantly telling me shut up when we're outside because people might be around that know who she is and what she does. I'm like, man, I'm speaking English. We live in Quebec. These fuckers don't understand shit. No, it's not true. I'm like, in the South Shore it is. I remember working out here at Target, and there was the English crew. It was like a very small amount of us, and there were the French people who spoke English. Then there were the go-getter baby boomers who were like, "Oh, I will practice my English with you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's real cool." And then when we started speaking, that practice just never happened. It was more like, "Hey, toi, là, viens sit." I heard someone say, "Spaghettino is sit." I'm like, what do you mean? Ça veut dire quoi, ça, Spaghettino is sit? Like, she said, it's not Gatineau here. We're not in Gatineau. It's basically what she said. I'm like, well, what's that supposed to mean? And then she started bitching because the elves on the shelves were only in English. Like, well, what's it in French? Lutter dans putain? If I'm not mistaken, putain is, I think, a pussy. And lutin is an elf. So, an elf and a pussy, I don't know. I thought it was funny. She didn't. She's like, how am I supposed to read my kid the story? I'm like, the same way I read my kid French stories. Sorry, my dog is gnawing on the wall. She's a puppy. Hey. Every time I turn around and look at her, she's like, she stops. She knows what she's doing is not right. Isn't that right, little Hitler? Yes. Take off your shoes. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's, that. And, you'll hear me say from time and time again, something like Tristan Long Schlong and Jacob Dick Face. Hang on, I'm just going to fix the thing with the dog. Sorry about that. So, Jacob Dick Face is an asshole on Marketplace for Facebook. He had a trunk full of NES minis, selling them at 3 times the price. Now a lot of people are like, it's capitalism. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't help me. Capitalism is supposed to help more I thought it was supposed to help more the person trying to buy things, right? The idea of capitalism, especially for the way the right puts it, is that company A creates a product, let's say hand sanitizer, and they sell it at $300 a bottle. Company B starts up a hand sanitizer company, realizing that they could probably make the same hand sanitizer at a cheaper price, and then therefore getting all the revenue. Sure enough, that happens. Company C sees that it is ridiculously inexpensive to make hand sanitizer. They decide not to be greedy in terms of profit, so they sell it at, a slight gain. They make all the money. Company A tries to cut down their cost to match up. Company C can't, goes out of business. Company B can, for whatever reason. And Company B and C are constantly in competition for lowest price hand sanitizer so they can still churn a profit. It's supposed to help who? The consumer the most. Someone like Jacob Dick-Face, who's got a trunk full of NES minis, is not helping the consumer. He's helping himself, and he could blow me. I told him as such. Needless to say, I got a warning on Marketplace. No, Virage sale. It was Virage sale. It wasn't Marketplace. Marketplace was Tristan Longschlong. Tristan Longschlong was selling like either Tales of on the PS3 something with the box art or the box set, or Records of Agriet's War, one of those 2 games, at a ridiculous price considering that the DLC that it came with or whatever is inside is expired. I'm like, you can't sell this as though you're selling it for what it is. Most of the stuff won't work anymore. It's like selling Game of the Year edition Batman. You go, you could get Catwoman, but you can't because the shit is expired. Or SmackDown versus Raw, you get Bret Hart or Ric Flair as DLC. Oh no, it's expired. You can't. Tough luck, kid. I mentioned that, and he told me to blow me, and I told him, oh yeah, sure. Meet me here, and I'll do exactly that. You want to put your dick in someone's mouth? You're not worried they're gonna bite it off? I might not be too petty not to bite that shit right off, motherfucker. You walking around, Tristan Noschlong. So, those are those 2 people's names. They're just basic cancers of the retro gaming world. Piece of shit that live in their mom's basement, and I use that because I do most of my shit in the basement, but it's my house. And if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out. Eddie Murphy, for those of you, probably one of the funniest stand-ups ever. I had to pause that to finish laughing because my head hurt and I was making too much noise laughing, and I didn't want to miss the next joke. I keep walking because I don't know where the gay section is. I don't want you to get a long look at my ass and get that imagination going. Like, if he tried that shit today, holy crap. He'd have been Me Too'd, and yeah, BLM would probably get involved somehow against Eddie Murphy. I could totally see it. The way the left is with their retard shit. Alright. I think that's it for housekeeping. We're going to jump right into this. No, not bad. 8 minutes. Okay. Alright, so, well, almost 9 minutes. I've been playing, and this is the first entry in the series, Yakuza 4. I have 3, and I forgot I had it. So, I changed the hard drive in the PS3. I changed it to a 1 terabyte hard disk drive. Since now those are like dirt cheap. It was super easy to buy. I don't have the specs, but check. If you're going to do it yourself, check the specs to make sure that what you have is fast enough. I've noticed that load times have gone a little smoother. It was not the link at the website for the, I guess you could call it not operating system, but yeah, the operating system to format, right? There are 2 links on the page. One of them won't work. Won't give you what you get. The same download looks exactly the same, both links, But one of those downloads will not work. So when you put it into your PS3 and you're like, hey, the fucking thing isn't working, it's because you took the wrong one. Take the other link and you'll be good to go. I think I got every error possible installing that. And since then I've been able to actually have numerous games on the hard drive because I have fucking 3 times what I had before. So I have a bunch of games for me and my kids to play. We're playing Bomberman 94 or Sonic Adventure, Castle Crashers, and well, I downloaded Yakuza for myself. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll play it. And there's like a reminiscent part in the game where you can check out all the old stories. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I went on Steam and saw that Yakuza 1 and 2 are available. I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to get it on Steam. Forget reminiscing, but then I won't get them trophies. But, so I know what happened to the Shenmue engine. Sega, you fucking assholes. You made 1 million Yakuzas, but couldn't make a fucking other Shenmue, huh? Couldn't make a... Sorry about that. I shut my Chrome browser. Keep forgetting to go to settings and turn off notifications, but, you know. Yeah, so, we got 1 million Yakuzas, but, well, I have to wait forever for Shenmue 3, and I'm afraid to play it, because 1, it'll probably be the last Shenmue I'll ever play, and 2, a lot of people bitched and moaned during the creation, but a lot of people bitched and moaned at Michael Keaton being Batman before he was Batman. So, Yakuza 4. You pay to play, no. You play a dude. You know, it's funny, I hear his name all the time. Akiyama? Shun. This is, I believe, his first name. And he's a loan shark for Sky Finances. This dude gives out loans with no collateral and no interest. So I have no idea how he makes money, but sure. I guess it's just to give him some kind of honorable job. So he used to be a homeless guy. Okay, so the story so far, sorry for spoilers. Yeah, I guess I understand that there will be spoilers throughout. So I'm not warning you. Again, this is the warning. There are spoilers. So if you don't want, I'll put like timelines in the thing. And I'll try not to go back to a subject later on, because I'm really back and forth. That's why I have my notes here, so I stay on target. So, yeah, you're this dude who used to be a homeless dude, and then some explosion happens, and I didn't finish the game. I'm on chapter, I think, 4 or 5. And explosion happens, and money falls everywhere, and you use it to pull yourself out of homelessness. But you weren't always homeless. You used to be a businessman, a working man. But you know what that means in Japan, right? Working man? It means your life is shit. That's the only thing about Japan that sucks, is the work. What do you call that? Anyways, the working environment is hot garbage. I would never, even as a gaijin or as a foreigner, they hold you at different standards, but still you feel like an incompetent fuck when you're there. If ever I were to work in Japan, it's because I would have opened my own restaurant or something. It'd be a Canadian style restaurant. It'd be hot fucking awesome. There'd be poutine, there would be burgers, hot dogs, pogos, real like fast food place, but like we'll have bagels and Reuben sandwiches, and it'd be like a deli / La Belle Province. It's gonna be delicious. It would kill it. You know how they like the gimmicky shit? There'll be hockey memorabilia and shit everywhere. And I won't be criticized for being a Leafs fan there. They won't know the rival between Montreal and Toronto, or Montreal and Boston. My brother's actually a Bruins fan. Isn't that fucking hilarious? So hockey at our family gets pretty intense depending who's playing. But anyways, so he gets his money, starts a business. He's got some Chubbs McKenzie. I don't hate on Chubb ladies. Chubb ladies got bigger tits, but no, I'm not also like the new Victoria's Secret is hot with these like super plus size broads. No, it's not. All right. I mean, I don't like a thigh gap, but, you know, I also don't like a sumo wrestler. Let's just say. So, anyway, so this Chubb McKenzie secretary, who's like up your ass, is actually scary as shit. She's kind of like a Chi-Chi character, right? Somebody comes in and she can kick the shit out of them. And she does. Holy shit. Until one time you come in and she got beat up. I'll leave the story stuff out as much as possible. Because, I mean, then you were like, well, why am I playing? I already know what's going to happen. But there's all sorts of shit to do outside of the main quest. Like always, it's a sandbox game. Although they make it seem like the shit is urgent, go now. You don't have to, right? Although after... Okay, so... besides running around and doing the main story, there's instances where people, thugs or other people, come up to you and want to mess you up. Could be regular guys, could be gang members, and it could be Yakuza. And you fuck their shit up. The fighting in this game handles like a beat 'em up. Shenmue had that too when you were doing the group fight. Only a little more polished. It should be. Fuck. It's the fourth entry in the game that took the engine from Yu Suzuki, right? So, there's the crazy shit you can learn. These finishing moves. Oh my god, they're so much fun to watch. And like the impact is just beautiful. Every time I do it, I look up to make sure my kids aren't coming out of their room to make, like, oh my god, they're going to come out just as I stomp on this motherfucker's face. So one of them is you take a baseball bat, right? And you hit him in his knees, and then he's there on his knees. And you size up real good, and you just fucking swing right at the guy's face. His face all distorted, red, blood, looks like teeth are flying out. And then after you kick the shit out of them, they apologize and give you money. Love it. The fighting is a lot of fun, but it happens a little too frequently. Oh, and FYI, if you're like, oh, I need to make money because I need to do the hostess shit, run around and fight. It's the fastest way to make money. So people like gamble, fuck that shit. No, gambling is not the fastest way. So, the hostess thing is one of the things that will take up a lot of your time. I suggest going to GameFAQs or whatever so you can save the most amount of money playing these games. So basically you court these bitches at this hostess club, which is a real thing. Working men go to these clubs and have these girls pretend to be interested in everything they say, light their cigarettes, pour their drinks. They even drink the drinks that you bought for yourself. You're like, I'll have a beer. And she's like, oh, cool. She gets to have some too, or maybe not. I don't know. But in the game, that's what it seems like. And then in the middle of a conversation, she's like, I'm hungry. Could I have this? I'm like, you fucking paying for it? Like, you're not going to blow my dick. I'm not paying for anything for you. I'm like, why am I not? Why would they do this and not do prostitution? Prostitution seems like such a better deal. At the end of the interaction, I paid like 87,000 yen. I'm like, isn't that like $800? Or was it $87? $87? No, it's got to be like 800 or some shit. I don't know. I can't. Every time I touch the computer, the mic stops. So I'm not gonna go check online what the exchange rate is. Today's broadcast is not brought to you by Tim Hortons Coffee. Get a large double and have a good feels on the inside. Although in Quebec you probably have to say un grand deux, because if you say a large double, you may not get it. Some places in Quebec they will. Like in Quebec City, you do not find that French versus English bullshit over there. Everyone has been super pleasant there. In and around the Montreal area, especially the suburbs, oof. You gotta be careful. There's actually a line divided in the sand. But that's for a topic for a different time. And not everyone's like that. I have many a friend who are mostly French. And we get along super duper well. Alright, so let's host this thing. You gotta court these bitches. You go up, you choose. First you have to go into the place. And you're like, I don't know. No, you don't choose anybody in particular. Then you get like introduced to 3 of them. And some of them will give you a business card. Some of them won't. I don't know why. I'm not that far in the game. So those of them that do, you can actually come back to the place and hit it off with them. Go to GameFAQs to get the right thing to say whenever they talk to you, so you can build up the heart meter as fast as possible. Once the heart meter reaches certain levels, you can stare at them. There are specific places that you have to stare at them depending on which level it is and who it is. Sometimes you stare at their chest, sometimes their hands, sometimes their hair. Depends on who, depends on what. Then you go on dates with them. Don't worry about what you do for the date. It doesn't matter. You can eat at the restaurant. Like if you got low health, good to go eat at a restaurant. You can shop, but that's going to be expensive. It's always at the same place. And make sure you talk to everybody in town who's got a green or blue arrow on their head. It's very important because they'll give you rumors or topics of discussion to talk to these hostesses. Because at some point, your hostess thing will be, she'll talk, and then you have to respond, and there's one of three choices. And there's one of the best ones, and then there's one that get you no reaction, and some get you negative reaction. There are things you can choose to order that they'll be excited about, so make sure you look that up too. And GameFAQs has it all covered. You can give them presents, but I don't bother. Your conversation should get you over if you have the right things to say. Then there will be text messages at the end of your interaction, and you can answer a specific way, and it'll increase the heart meter. Then you have dates. Dates don't do anything. There's nothing you have to worry about. You just live out your little thing with them, and then when you finally finish and you do your last date, you guys will fuck. You will see nothing. It's just implied because you're in the hotel district when you're done. And the only reason I knew for sure that's what was going on is because Rio, who's half Japanese, half, I think she said she was Portuguese, says, do you want to be the first to see me naked? And I'm like, how are you 20 years old and no one's seen you naked? What kind of fucked up culture is it over there in Japan? God damn. Isn't there like 13-year-old rubbing tugs? I don't know. So yeah, you do that there's like few different places. You own one of these hostess place, and when you go to yours, I think later on, you basically dress up and change your hostesses, your school of hostesses. Anyways, their manner of which they're discussing, because you go around the floor and you listen to what's popular, and you go in and you change what your lady looks like. Conservative, so you take off the makeup. Skanky, you put more makeup on, more bells and whistles. You have a certain budget to spend, etc., etc. So it's basically like The Sims Hostess Edition. And you start off a little bit because it's part of your story. I'm right there now. I just did the second night of the host thing with Lily, who apparently is part of your past somehow, and no one's acknowledging it. Oh boy. So that's about it for the hostess. They date you, you fuck them. They give you one of the trophies is get all their business cards, but some of them won't even give you the time of day. Then there's these side quests. Now, if you're worried if there's a side quest you might miss in a chapter, there's a guy in the Champion District in the Shellac Bar who will tell you about rumors, and this will help. But these things are great to give you experience. But I think I already maxed out. I'm at level 20, and I have no more moves to buy. I have everything, which is great. One of the finishing moves, if you're near a guardrail and you got the guy in a grab, you can suplex him back right across the rail. It's fucking sick. Some of these moves are just ridiculous, but they're all fun to watch. Anyways, the side quests are great for earning experience, but like I said, I'm already tapped out. So I'm like, oh shit. There's items and accessories to add to your guy for extra armor. You can actually have weapons too equipped. I don't. Usually the hand-to-hand is enough. But when there'll be guys later that you're going to fight that just don't take a hit. They'll just keep standing at you and have a chainsaw. And you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? It's good to have a weapon then. So there's weapon builders and makers, or you can buy it. There's a shop on a rooftop in a van. And there's another one near the Champion District. No, further north of the Champion District. I have no idea what that area is called. I've been there like twice. But anyways, the side quests are great to get an idea of how the game mechanics work, what you can and can't do. There's these locker sets. Yeah, one in the underground mall. Underground mall, like an underground strip mall. And there's another one near the power tower or whatever it's called. You find keys. You have a key locator. It'll make a noise and you have to look around if it's not obvious. And then you can pick up the fucking key. There's a strip bar, but nothing happens. Nobody's stripping. And there's a massage parlor. But it's like, it seems to be a feet fetish place more than anything else. The graphics are pretty good, I have to say. But sometimes I think they tried to go too realistic, that some of them look really creepy. I think Anika is one of my favorite hostesses so far. She's goddamn hot. She looks older. I kind of like older women. Because young women don't know how to do anything. Well, hey, you're a woman. We should date. Yeah, for sure. I don't cook. I don't clean. I don't... my cooking utensil is me ordering, like, skip the dishes. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm not the only one who's going to be cooking in the house. Eat a dick. So far I'm enjoying Yakuza 4. I don't hate the load times. I enjoy... I hate load times, but usually when I start up a game, I'm like, ugh. But this one's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to finishing it and playing the rest of the series. I'm glad I have 3 other games already. I have 0, Zombies, and 3. Looking forward to continuing this one. I don't hate it. This isn't depressing like... right now I'm also playing like Atelier Iris on the PS2, and it's awful. Everything about this game is awful. How it got popular, I think people were just desperate in the PS2 era for, oh, it's an RPG, I'll play it. Oh, Stella Deuce, that was garbage. Oh, Magna Carta, that was hot garbage. Like I'm trying to think of a PS2 RPG I played that I really enjoyed. Final Fantasy X. Grandia Extreme? No, not that one. Dot Hack was an interesting idea. Xenosaga. I haven't played it yet. Growlancer. Oof, that was good. That was really good. Persona 3, no. Unlimited Saga, no. X-Men Legends, no. Oh, Tales of Abyss and Tales of Legendia. Tales of Legendia was awesome. Alright, well that's it for Yakuza 4. So far, I say get it. You can, and it's on sale. It's on Steam. Get it. Fucking don't not get it. It's a great game. If you like Grand Theft Auto, this is essentially like a PG version with just blood. With better graphics. God, Grand Theft Auto. I don't know how they got popular. San Andreas was ugly as shit. It looked like Robot Chicken graphics. Like bad stop motion animation. Like they took toys from the dollar store and just made them move around. Alright. I had finished last month Onslaught, the Omnibus. Now, this is a story that took place in 1996. I don't think it was Marvel's strongest year or couple of years. I recognize 0 of the talent. Most of the talent I don't recognize that was involved in this. I think, Mark Waid was there, and I think Claremont as well. But apart from those two, I recognize no. I don't even think Mark Bagley did anything in this whole. But it's probably one of the last original stories you get from Marvel. Like, holy shit, it was great. This is a well put together omnibus. You got a whole story. It's so far it's been the one that was worth the most. Like I have a Venomnibus Volume 1, and that was awful in comparison. I like Venom, but when 100 different people are writing a Venom story and they keep changing what they want to change and making, sometimes at one point Eddie was like a simp, like a bitch for this woman, and I'm like, fuck this artistic bitch. Who gives a fuck? You're Eddie Brock, man. With Venom, you can have like the biggest dick right next to Mr. Fantastic. That's why he's called Mr. Fantastic. Not because it rhymes with elastic, but because that wang could get huge and no one will know, right? That's why Sue sticks around. Not because he's a really attentive guy. And it shows you, right? Oh, women want an attentive guy. They want someone to listen to them and cook them dinner. Look at Reed, man. All he is a scientist. This guy couldn't cook shit. Yeah, he could maybe cook meth, but A meal, forget it. And she sticks around because he hits the spots. Let me tell you. Now, I'm not a big fan of Fantastic Four, so I have no idea what the relationship is. But from what I saw in Onslaught, now is that really how you can measure? Like, that's the thing with North American comic books, is that too many chiefs have their, or too many chefs have their, my chef used to call chefs chiefs. Too many chefs have their hand in the pot. So, like, you don't know if it's going to be good or who added the right stuff. But, like, too many people are writing their story, and it's like, well, which is the real story, or which is the real people? Like, how do you know? Like, what's the definition? The people say today that they need someone like Jim Shooter back in there. I don't know who Jim Shooter is. I've seen his name on the old She-Hulk book that I'm reading now. But anyways, so the only thing I found it really confusing was I still don't know who the fuck Onslaught is. Like, I have no idea how he became in existence. From what I gather, and like I said, spoilers. After Wolverine had all the metal ripped right out of him from Magneto, Professor X was like, "The fuck you do?" And Control-Alt deleted Magneto's brain. Made him a vegetable among vegetables. Like a celery. You know, that one nobody likes. I put peanut butter on it. No one cares. And during that transfer or that thing, something sinister, but not Mr. Sinister. God, who is that even? Traversed or transmitted to Professor Wheels, and he was all like slowly becoming evil, or that power was slowly biding its time to exist, and then finally it overtook Professor X and the Richards kid. His name escapes me. Franklin. And that's all I can think of that was... Like, it looks like Magneto. That's where the little thing came from. It came from Magneto. But why it looks like Magneto, I'll never know. They didn't really explain it well, so I feel bad for anybody who has to make a movie on it. Or I know they made a video game. The Marvel... is it X-Men versus Marvel, or Marvel versus X-Men? Was the Onslaught story, or was that... No, Marvel versus Capcom. That was the Onslaught story. It's really funny when you beat Onslaught with Mega Man. He just picks up the power like he does for, like, those other bosses back in the Mega Man days. And then for the rest of the time you play as Mega Man, he'll have that extra move. Pretty swank. Capcom really did their best to give every nod possible. If you played Marvel Superheroes, it's basically the Infinity War. No, Infinity Gauntlet. The last guy is Thanos, or Thanos, however you want to say it. In Onslaught, there is a lot of deaths, but not like in what was it? Infinite Crisis. Holy fuck! I was not expecting so many heroes just to go down from Superman Prime. Holy shit! Or Superboy Prime. Was it Superboy? Yeah, Superboy. Holy shit! Holy shit! It was great. Hey, if you haven't read Infinite Crisis, do it. Oh, Jesus. I'll talk about that another time. But there was a lot of deaths, but we don't know, right? And the epic fight at the end, there's a lot of epic shit that happens in Onslaught. At first, it's a slow pace to get you caught up to what's going on, which is great. It's exactly what you need. It's as if all by itself, it could stand alone. And there were lasting effects. I think this is when they did Heroes Reborn, right after this story. And there were a few little issues I had with some of the tie-in issues. Because at the time, Peter Parker was no longer Spider-Man. He was just Peter Parker. And Ben Reilly was Spider-Man. And I don't think anybody wanted that. But Marvel's like, fuck it. Fuck Peter Parker. Fuck it. He's been around forever. Fuck that guy. We need to market a new toy. Well, what's going to be new about him? It's still a Spider-Man suit on someone. We got to change the suit. Fuck that. Fuck you. Anyways, that and the Green Goblin or the Hobgoblin. Is it green or Hob? I think it's green. And it's just, he's such a simp. He's like a little bitch. Like, fuck you, whoever you are. Like all the time, I'm not a hero. Feel sorry for me. I stole his tech and I'm not a hero. I guess I have to be. And then the Punisher tie-in. So the idea is that Onslaught took over a lot of Sentinels and sent them to rampage through New York City. I'm like, oh my god. Can you imagine Frank Castle having to take out Sentinels? It's almost a 90s wet dream. Carte blanche to just blow shit up. Go, Frank. Let me tell you, it was very lackluster. There's a few. Avengers Assemble was said. Oh, goosebumps. I can still remember the 2-page spread. The Avengers, the X-Men, some other nobodies. She-Hulk was there, looking sexy as shit. Not as sexy as she did in the original series. Holy balls. But sexy nonetheless. And, the end was beautiful. The last fight, I would have changed a few things, but for 1996... was great. But then again, you read Crisis on Infinite Earths and the big epic final showdown. That was fucking sick. So when you have that as the standard, but then again, I read manga and those fights are super fucking epic. And then you go back to North American comic books and you're like, I thought this was action. Why is it the next panel everyone's beat up? What happened? Fuck. Anyways, Goku makes an appearance in Onslaught. Obviously not as a person, because that would have been over. Hey, who are you? I'm Onslaught. I will kill everyone. Oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to try my newest technique, the Kamehameha. The what? Ka, right? And the whole thing happens. And you can hear, what was her name? Masako Nozawa. Right? You can hear her granny ass voice, Ka, May, right? And you're like, oh shit, oh shit. Onslaught, you're about to be fucked. And that would have been the end of that. No one would have died. The energy would have just dissipated. And Goku would have been like, oh, Chaozu is more powerful than that. And then later, further into the forest, you see Tien's training. And all of a sudden, Chaozu sneezes. Bless you, Chaozu. Thanks, Tien. Anyways, he makes an appearance as a stuffed toy, a little battered. So Franklin's watching some Dragon Ball. That is sick. Oh yeah, goosebumps. Oh yeah, near the end when it's the last few issues. Whoo. Oof. There's a few things with Wolverine. He's like savage. So he's trying to find a way to become more human. But people are like, no, it's in your head, bro. You're only telling yourself that you're savage, but you're not really savage. It's like as if you just using it as an excuse. I'm like, that is fucking bad writing. No, they should have really touched on that. Like that it broke his psyche a bit, having his adamantium ripped right out. I mean, I guess it did. I found that really weak. And I know a lot of people were turned off by most of what happened because of what happened to Wolverine. At the end of the whole thing, there's a beach party. So everyone's in bikinis and short trunks. So if you're like, I want to see some Scott Summers in a trunks, boom, they got that for you. I want to see Rogue. No, she's actually on a motorcycle most of the time. She's not really wearing something scantily clad. But other people are there. Don't worry about it. A little TNA all over the place. The stuff to give even Vampirilla some a run for her money. Slightly. We all know Vampy is the best. Yeah, Spider-Man was hard to read. The Green Goblin was fucking dumb. And outside of the main X-Men or X-Man or all the X things out except for Excalibur were well done. Excalibur had like the worst art. It looked awful. It looked like a cartoon coloring book instead of like trying to be realistic. But I mean, art versus story, story versus art. It ties everything in. It's nice. I loved it. It's probably the only Marvel story that they could try to do it again, but it would be like, you don't want the writers today to be doing that. No. Can you imagine Onslaught comes out and he's all like, SJW slot, and he's all like, canceling. Like one of the first few panels are going to cancel Johnny Depp for all the butthurt lefties for Amber Heard. Oh boy, no thanks. Then Goku comes and just takes care of it. Now with the people today, I wouldn't have them write Onslaught, but it's one of the last original stories before they recycle Civil War or Secret Wars 2, Planet She-Hulk, like... it's totally worth it. I enjoyed it. Marvel wasn't at their peak, but that was definitely worth it. Mark Waid, even though he's a piece of shit, did a good job. I won't take anything away from his ability to write well. Like, not like that Cantwell guy who can't write shit, but or Teenie Howard, but no, do it up. I recommend Onslaught. If there's ever an omnibus to get, that would definitely be. I wouldn't recommend Venom. Oh my god, no. Unless you're a Venom fan, there's no point. Like, get the trades for Lethal Protector, and that's it. Everything else in the whole book was awful. Even the one where I thought was going to be cool with Blackheart, nah, it wasn't that cool. There was no like, ooh, this is totally... Like, I wanted to know what happened with Venom. Like, they split at some point. I want to know what happened with that, but it's not covered in here. I'll have to get it somewhere else. Well, that's it for the Onslaught Omnibus. Go do it up. Currently, I'm reading the She-Hulk Omnibus, the Savage She-Hulk, the original story. This is like, I think, one of the few times that the number 1 is the actual origin. In manga, yeah, that's how it goes. But in comic books, it's usually like Spider-Man 1 isn't the origin. It's Amazing Fantasy number... But this one actually has the origin. And it's not car accident, blood transfusion. No. She's a lawyer fighting up against some fucking mob bosses. And she gets shot while Bruce Banner was there visiting her. And he's like, fuck, I can't bring her to the hospital. I don't want anybody to know who I am and I'm here. So he brings her into the garage and helps her out with a blood transfusion because, he's a doctor. So because he's a scientist, he could obviously perform a blood transfusion and shit. No problem. That was like day 1 in class, right? So she wakes up in a hospital later where the mob is there to try to finish the job, where she hulks it up and throws what they said it was like a cast iron bed that was bolted to the floor or something right at them, to show that her feats. And the one thing that irks me about this series is no matter what she's wearing, when she transforms into She-Hulk, she looks exactly the same. It's always that tattered, shredded blouse, dress, top. It's like I don't know. And it magically covers her crotch all the time. You know me, I'm a dirty perv. Hands down, I like me some crotch shots and whatever. And there's some decent looking scenes in this omnibus thus far. And for something that came out in the 80s, whew. And there's like little hating on men misogyny in it. I mean, there's Bucky Butcherskowski. He's a piece of shit. But I mean, he's a piece of shit in a way pieces of shit were pieces of shit. He's not just a regular guy who happens to be white who's just like, hey, I'm against you in court. And she's all like, fucking misogyny. You know how they do it today? No, he's a complete work of a piece of trash motherfucker. What was cool is that thus far, Iron Man has showed up, and they planted this idea that Tony Stark tech was used to make a fake She-Hulk, to frame her for murder. So now, like, the law is like, she's a murderer. You know how they do that, right? They make the hero super tragic. The problem is they also make it that it's easily explained. And you're like, well, she's a lawyer. She's fighting these idiots in court. This should be easy to prove that, look, they made fake robot She-Hulk no bad, right? No, we'll let it go, right? It's the 80s. You gotta give it some leeway for being a product of the time. Today, it wouldn't hold up, though. But they wouldn't write this good today. If you had issue 1 of She-Hulk today, it would be the best-selling anything, because a lot of shit actually happens in a book. Whereas today, she talks to... Jackass of Hearts for like 4 books straight. I am so not looking forward to reading issue 5. I'm not looking forward to it. Oh, man, my coffee's finished. I'll have to go get something else in a minute. So, yeah, Iron Man shows up later because one of his drivers is missing, and that's weird. And then Morbius makes a little cameo, and he's all inter-conflicted because he's getting help She-Hulk because she's dying. They don't explain why, though. They're science and stuff. God, they were doing science and stuff even back then. And he's like, I could drink this, and then I will no longer have the thirst for blood. But I have to give it to She-Hulk. Oh, inner conflict. And then he gives it to her finally, and they're like, oh, we're too late. And that's how, like, the issue ends. In the next one, she's fine. You need to transform. You can't be She-Hulk. You need to be Jen again. And if you look, She-Hulk is Jen. Like, her face stays the same, just green with nicer hair. Like, it's almost great that she looks ugly as shit as Jen. Well, she doesn't look ugly as shit. That shower picture, but her hair is awful. And then when she's She-Hulk, she has sexy everything. Holy hell. Oh my god. It's almost a shame that the porn version of that is China from wrestling. Eesh. Not exactly who I would have pictured to do She-Hulk. But, you know, physique-wise, yeah, spot on, but face, not even close. Yeah. Then there's the typical issues that fill in, you know. They're red ogres. You never hear about them. There's no Marvel card about them. They're red ogres. Who gives a shit? They have the Fountain of Youth. Oh, my God. Right, little Hitler? Oh, yeah. Touch your toes. I don't know. He looks like a perv. Anyways, sexy as fuck. Yeah. First 12 issues are good so far, except for the red ogres. That's how far I am. 12 issues. Not to say that nothing happens in those 12 issues. She goes through a whole spiel of shit. From almost being killed by her dad twice. Having her friend die tragically in front of her as she was trying to save her life. It was kind of... it was something. It was something... It was tough. So we'll stop there for the She-Hulk. When I finish it, I'll do a full review. I want to talk about something I was playing with my son, where I was showing him. He was getting into Mario Kart, and he's really liking it. He's playing on the DS, so he's not playing it on the Wii, where he uses motion and then sucks with the D-pad. I was dead set against that, because I saw what happens. I have a nephew, and he had the Wii, and he played Mario Kart, and he has the motion. He came over. He's like, "Hey, you have Mario Kart?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have Mario Kart 64 on the Wii." Really? Yeah, but I don't have Mario Kart on the Wii. I just had Mario Kart 64. So I'm like, all right, plug it in, give him the classic control. I'm like, go to town. He looked at me like I was insane. What am I supposed to do with this? I'm like, you move with the D-pad. Dude was doing circles. Looked retarded. I'm like, oh my god. I guess this is what happens when you use the motion controls. You have no idea how to use the fucking D-pad. So he's playing Mario Kart. My son, and he's enjoying it. He actually got in first in a 50cc, in a couple of 50cc races as Wario. I'm like, oh, good for you. I'm a Wario. I'm gonna win. Or eat the garlic and get horns. I am horny after garlic. If you ever played Wario Land. Anyways, his power up is garlic because he's a shithead. Anyways, but because he was interested in these racing games, I'm like, oh my god, if you like this game, I have a game you might like. And I put in Auto Modelista, and I forgot that this game is very touchy for controls. It is the most sensitive racing game I ever played in my life. When I first played it, I took the Skyline. That's a 4-wheel drive car, and I murdered with that because you don't have to worry about turning. You don't have to worry about spinning out too much with a 4-wheel drive. But this time I took the Toyota Torino, because now I'm more educated and cultured into Initial D, that of course whenever I play a racing game and there's a Toyota Torino, I'm going to fucking jump on that. Like a woman on a big black dick. Right? And so I'm like, alright. And I started playing it again, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a great game. I'm like, oh, I don't know why I I was gonna put Gran Turismo, but I know that that's a little too much, and I have Split Second. I like Street Racing Syndicate. Oh my god! I don't know if you've ever played that, but you got like these, you get these girlfriends in this game, and then you get a video, like an FMV real live video of them dancing, and the higher level you beat their trials at, the less clothes they wear. So at first they're like fully clothed, next they're like in a sort of bikini, and then just in their underwear. And I'm like, oh shit. And every time I play this game, I'm always looking to make sure my girlfriend doesn't come out. Like, I play at night, and I'm like, oh man, please don't come out now. This would be the worst time. And it would always be that, right? What was that meme? The load screen when I'm waiting around for wrestling, and it's just like, Stone Cold or The Undertaker. The load screen when my girlfriend walks by, and it's Trish Stratus or Lita in a very provocative position. Anyway, so Automodelista, it's like an anime racing game. It's cel shaded. When you go fast, there's those like lines effects. It looks really cool. Now, of course, it's dated because you're playing a PS2, so the graphics aren't really the greatest, but they're not terrible either. And I like the cool garage concept. So as you play the game, you get items to put in your garage, and you can dress up your garage however you want. It's really cool. You choose from what the walls look like and the floor, and then you start putting shelves and things on the shelf, and then posters or wall hangers or whatever, and oil cans and tires. And it doesn't do anything for your car. It's fun to look at. It's really cool. I like that. However, when you want to change cars, it is a fucking nightmare. You basically save your car, then you go back to the choose car screen and choose another car. I'm like, but I earned a car. No, you didn't earn a car. You basically unlocked a car. At any point, you can change what car you have. You just save its settings, and then I'm like, oh, this is stupid. Like, you play Gran Turismo, and you have a garage. In your garage is your different cars. And I always love washing the car. You ever notice that after washing the car, it always looks so sexy in Gran Turismo? That's something that's missing in this game. And I think something that's missing in most of these racing games is a story. Like, why are you racing? Outside of just trying to win and... What is the dog fucking playing with? It sounds like a fork. God, every time you get like a little break from the noise they make, I gotta fucking find something that's super annoying. Hey, does this make enough noise? Blant, 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 blant. No? How about I just get up and down and knock into the door 100 times a night? How about that? How about you just fucking sleep? How about that? Huh? Shit. But I always found that like Street Racing Syndicate sort of has a story, but it's lame. Like, I don't know. Well, why am I racing? Like, why can't I make it interesting? And the girlfriend concept, that's a good idea. You're a street racer and you're trying to impress ladies in that whole, in that sphere. Why not? But, no, if you get your hands on Automodelista, if it's not too expensive, it's... Well, I guess today with the racing game... No, you know what? Fuck it. Get it. Get it. Why not? It's a completely different experience. I think it won awards. Let me just check the case. Oh yeah, look at that. It got GameSpot Editor's Choice, E3 2002 Top Game, and Best Games. So silver for Top Game, and I guess gold for Best Game, which is weird, right? No, it's a stupid ass name, and you'll notice if you played Capcom vs SNK 2, that the announcer for that game, they recycled his shit into this game. So you're like, Automodelista, keep rocking, baby. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, that's from Capcom vs SNK 2. I'm like, next thing you're gonna do is tell me to choose my groove. Anyways, that's all I gotta say about Automodelista. The turning is tough. You get ready to, like, if you're like, well, I'm a pro, I know where the racing line is. Yeah, that's cool. Try this game and get back to me about being a pro. The tune-up kit, there's 3 different ways to do it. You do it yourself, you upgrade your, but as you only can upgrade your car as you go along. Like, the levels will be unlocked as you get better, but you can upgrade your car. That's what I always liked about Gran Turismo, is upgrading your car. The simulation part was so good. This you don't have to worry about any license testing. That's the one thing I hated about Gran Turismo, is a fucking stupid license. God damn. But this one I enjoyed immensely. All right, I want to talk about some TV shows. I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people... I mean, obviously this thing was really popular. But I talked about this one... I was bringing my kid. My kid was called up in... stories are all over the place. So a few weeks ago, we were given an email or a text by a coach in baseball asking if our son would want to come up to play at the higher league. They're short players and they need just numbers to fill in the gap. And they remember that he was pretty good last year. I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm like, you're going to miss your baseball team with your real team, but you're going to play in a higher league, so you'll know what to expect next year. He was totally for it. And we went, and he did a fucking amazing. He did super well. They had the ball launcher, and he fucking hit it almost every time. Their kids in the league, in the other team, they couldn't even hit it from the launcher. You get like 4 tries to hit it, and then you get the T-ball. If you hit it from the launcher, you can go and steal and take all the bases you want. If they keep dropping the ball because they're kids with small hands, doesn't matter. You can just keep running. If you hit it from the T-ball, you can only go 1 base. And I think he only hit the T once, and every other time was the launcher. Which was great. It was good for him. My guy told me, like, look, the launcher is fast. It's faster than what he's used to, and he may never hit it, so just to prepare him for that. And I did, and he knocked it out of the park, almost literally. Anyways, I was talking to this guy about Brooklyn Nine-Nine. A great show. That's what we both agreed on. But this guy looked like a simp. This dude, complete simp. Like, this dude's a fat dude with a beard. He walks like he's got like a dildo on one side of his ass. You know, like he's got that real doopy walk. Or dumpy walk. And anyways, I always thought he was a simp. He drops his kids off at the same school I drop my kids off. So I see him periodically. And he's not. He's based. He's like, yeah, that was great till season 7 or 6. I'm like, oh my god, right? And yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a great show. Watch the first 2-3 seasons and you're like, this is fantastic. And then watch it slowly morph into defund the police. I'm like, this is a show about fucking cops. What do you mean defund the police? And who do they get to be the big SJW? Rosa. The one who laughs whenever people get hurt. She's the one who's got the bleeding heart and wants to be like, defund the police. I'm no longer a cop because derps. Brooklyn Nine-Nine was one of the greatest shows ever. Buddy cop comedy. Everybody paired up. The cast is just beautiful. Everyone pairs up very well. I can watch the first 4 seasons numerous times. I think this is my 4th time going through this show. I love it. There's so much happening. The chemistry between the actors is phenomenal. And because this was made pre-2015, I didn't care that the captain was a black gay man. I didn't care that the second in command is another black guy. And that there are 2 Hispanics working. That shit didn't bother me. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, there's these women, If you watch that show now with like being jaded with the way left is, that's what you notice. Oh yeah, the gay captain's in charge. Of course he is. Oh, and he's black. Oh yeah, why not? Is he disabled as well? Oh, he's actually socially disabled. I'm smiling. You can't tell? I'm having the worst day of my life. I'm having the best day of my life. It's the same fucking face. Which is hilarious. But like, if you were to watch it today, let's say they remade season 1. This is something I keep telling people whenever I talk about this show. If they made season 1 now, this is how it would go. So those of you who watched season 1, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who haven't watched the show, stop listening and go watch the show. Forget what I'm going to say because it might ruin it for you. But enjoy the show. It is so good. And this is a show that you can definitely appreciate more than once. Except for the last like 2 or 3 seasons. It gets harder to watch. Season 1. Everything is up. Jake's up. He's just, everything's great for him. He learns. I feel like I was this guy. Maybe not as a cop, obviously, but wherever I worked, it was like I was the best at what I was doing at the workplace. People loved me, and I did things my way. And then some hard ass comes in and starts messing with everybody. Here we go. You gotta wear a tie. Yeah, I'll wear a tie. And he wears it around his waist. And they demote him, and he's in the thing. What does he do? He's got no pants on. He's wearing just like a bathing suit, right? Like anything he could do to stab the boss with these stupid rules. I would have done the same thing. I've done the same thing, but I did it in a fast food place. It was more like the movie Waiting that it is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I was like Justin Long, or I was a mixture of Justin Long and Ryan Reynolds in that movie. Anyways, so here's how season 1 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine would go, and then it would be canceled after the first season because nobody would watch this shit because it's horrible. So the same shit would typically happen. There would be that bet between Santiago and Jake Peralta for who can get the most arrests by the end. Here's how, so the whole series goes the way it goes, right? There's Doug Judy, there's the Halloween heist, all these things that happen. I don't think Jake would have won the Halloween heist. He would have been outstaged by God, why? I know his real name, Andre. What would Holt, Captain Holt, fucking Raymond Holt. Do you know what the word? You know what gravitas is? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You know, like, that dude's got, like, charisma and poise for someone who's doesn't seem like he has charisma or poise. So, like, Captain Holt would have won the first heist, for sure. Later on, when it got time to who wins the bet, it would be Santiago. She would have won by like flying colors, and then it would have turned out that Jake was actually like crooked cop. They find out and they arrest him, and then he's gone for the rest of the series. And then this season would be canceled. That's exactly what would happen. She would have beat him, or he would have beat her, and then she would have found out that he was like crooked and all the shit he did was like fake. All the callers he did were just like some of the repeat people. They're just, and then he'd let them go or whatever, or find some way to get them released somehow. And she's like, finds out he's crooked, proves in the next 2 or 3 episodes, and then boom, season finale is a showdown between Jake and Amy. Amy takes him out. Jake goes to jail. Turns out Boyle was part of that. They've proved it at the season finale that he's part of Jakey's gang, and that was it. And that's how the season 1 would be done now. It wouldn't be funny at all. It would be annoying, and it wouldn't last. It would have less views than probably Batwoman, I'd have to say. But watching it now, think about the situation, especially the last few seasons. Think about the cast and what's going on. Again, spoilers for those who haven't seen it. Gina leaves, and I hate Gina. She's like the person when she left, I was like, oh, thank God. But she leaves. She was a white woman, and everything came up aces for her. She was gone. Jake and Boyle are, and then you got the 2 clowns there, Scully and Hitchcock. They're the only white dudes on the show, and they're all idiots in one fashion or another. It's like Jake is only smart some of the time. Like all of a sudden he gets an epiphany of how to solve the crime. He's constantly having to reprove himself to Holt every season that he's a good cop. Like he's done it in season 1 and 2. You don't need to do it anymore, but he has to constantly prove himself. Boyle is an imbecile who constantly says the weirdest shit, like, "Oh, I like jizz in my mouth," like along the lines of that. It's usually really sexual in a way that's not sexual, and everyone just go, why are you saying things? Like when he gave everybody save the dates, it was, all right, guys, here are my STDs. How many STDs did you give out? Oh, about 100 of them. And they make cracks about it because it's funny. And then his Halloween costumes. He was He-Man. And they're like, what was it, gay cowboy? Or gay something. And I'm like, this would never work. They wouldn't say gay anything. That's probably good that the show stopped because it couldn't be funny anymore. Well, Boyle's wearing a pink shirt, and they make fun of him for it. So Boyle's an imbecile. Jake is lucky and smart sometimes. Scully and Hitchcock are like Beavis and Butthead if they became cops and were retarded. I like that episode where they were like hot. That was awesome. And then they started eating wings from wing sluts, and that was it. That's how they got fat and gross. Although they flip back to the 70s a lot, where Scully and Hitchcock look exactly the same. But then they do that episode, it sort of like retcons those, so there's a little inconsistency throughout this series, but really nothing to write home about. But all in all, it's a great show. It's just that the last seasons are hard to watch. Like, you have to really go, did they just say that? I'm just going to ignore it and go on. Because even if they do the stupid left-hard shit, as long as you ignore it, it doesn't really, except for the last season, it doesn't really have a hold on the whole show. It's background noise. It's still entertaining. And the heist is always entertaining, except for the last one. The last one, yeah, okay, it was cute. But the last one, it was awful. It was funny, but it was awful, because you know who's going to win. Everything was like, eventually this became the Rosa Diaz show. And that just shows you the lack of skill from, was her name Stephanie Beatrice? She's obviously a terrible actress. She sees the character she has from season 1 and how she evolves slightly to becoming a lesbian or bisexual or whatever. And then all of a sudden she's not a cop. No. She would never not be a cop. She would go out of her way to prove that not all cops are bad. It would be like her mission statement. She wouldn't have quit. So it shows you Stephanie should have been like, no. That's not how that should happen. You guys need to fix it. Or, like, she could hold the hostage or I'm out. But she didn't want to. Because you hear the interview there with her and Melissa, who plays Santiago. They're like, oh, I can't believe there's 2 Spanish people in the show. I'm like, oh, I didn't even really think about that. I didn't realize. It didn't occur to me until they brought it up. That's the difference between a regular human being or the regular populace and the leftards. The leftards will make it a deal. Oh my God, there's 2 Spanish people. Who would have thought? I'm like, I don't know. Wasn't that like that in NYPD Blue? Isn't there always like a multi-ethnic cultural in the police precinct anyways? And I'm like, you got to think about the town you're in too. You know, like you're in, buttfuck nowhere, Ohio. Are you really going to have a multicultural police thing? Probably not. Anyways, it was a great show. Last 3 seasons are hard to watch. Do it with like your blinders on, because some of the stuff is really good. You find yourself laughing less, but it's still entertaining. Kind of like George Carlin. I don't necessarily laugh at his stuff, but I find it entertaining. All right. We're going to go to The Boys, Season 3. Oh, wow. Past an hour. God, I talk so much, huh? The Boys. The Boys has ruined celebrities for me. I never want to meet anyone ever now. Ever. I want to meet porn star celebrities. At the very least, they're not real celebrities. And you've seen them naked, at the very least, already. Yeah, I can just imagine everybody like, oh, I'd love to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's like, Homelander. You know? Never mind. Oh, David Duchovny. No. Jackie Chan. No. Never mind. I'll go meet the cashier at my local grocery store. How about that? Don't meet your heroes. But why would an actor be a hero? I guess because they're popular. For a mature rated show with a lot of gore, there's a lot of penis. There's a lot of fucking cocks in this show. And I'm like, why? Why has it gotten to just cocks are everywhere? You don't even see pussies in TV shows, but you see cocks. We got to a point where it was inside a cock, which was funny, right? We all wanted Thanos to actually happen, where Ant-Man goes inside of Thanos' ass and just expands. That would have been great. And then they do it in The Boys, and it's fucking hilarious, but it's got to be a penis. Why didn't the guy just crawl up a vag and then explode a bitch out with gore and tits everywhere? Why didn't that happen? It has to be a penis. What do you call it? Yeah, ruined celebrities. There was a lot of cocks. This series was really stressful. I felt scared for everybody. And usually you think, oh well, they're the main characters. They're not going to die. Even though Mick G's not doing this. Mick G was doing something else. Oh yeah, Lethal Weapon. Even though they're the main characters of the show, you never know. You never know. This might be their time. They might die and have to live with the death of that person for forever. And the fact that the temporary V gave... Oh, yeah, spoilers, right? Temporary V is going to kill Butcher. I hated that. I'm like, why though? And the thing is, I love the actor who plays him, but his arms are like spaghetti noodles. And he's like punching people as though he's, Jackie Chan or Jet Li. Like, he's hitting people and they go down. I'm like, there's no fucking way his noodle arms over there is hitting people and they fall down. Like, I know he's older than everybody else in the show, but, like, the dude looks like, this guy makes Orange Cassidy look like Hulk Hogan. Let's put it that way. Jim Cornette would agree. I love this season. I love every season of The Boys to the point where I bought omnibuses, a flock of omnibus. For the show, same with Invincible. I haven't gotten to them yet. When it comes to stuff like that, I kind of I want to hold it off to the end because I know that once I finish reading it, that's it, and I know it's going to be good, or it should be good. It's been a while. It took me a while before I got to She-Hulk. I want to do other things first before I got to She-Hulk. I have Chuck Dixon's Nightwing, a couple of volumes in the trades there. I'm missing number 2 and 3, but I have 1, 4, and 5, and it just shows you how good a writer he is. He's got, at least 5 volumes of trades in Nightwing. How many people today can say they have that? Definitely not Vita Ayala. But, no, this season I was stressed. I felt bad for Dewey. He was trying to do the right thing. Dewey? Huey, right? It's a stupid-ass name. Fun little trivia. Simon Pegg, who plays his father, is actually who Huey is based off. Huey's design or semblance is based off of Simon Pegg. You know him from Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, World's End, Run, Fat Boy Run, I think it was the name of that one. I don't remember. Anyways, that... no, it's a great show. If you guys haven't watched The Boys, it is gory as fuck. I'm not going to give too much of the story, especially for this season. I found a few scenes with Frenchie to be much better, but it's like everybody's personal life is dragging the story from progressing. And it makes sense in terms of that's how probably real life would work, but they still get shit done. Jensen Ackles is great at playing a piece of shit. The whole thing with Soldier Boy was something else. And although we all see Dean, right? When we hear that voice and we see his face, we see Dean. So the fact that his hair is different and he's got facial hair and stuff, it helps. But now I'm like, is this going to jade Dean for me now? I hope not. Supernatural is a great show. But The Boys is fantastic. And the fact that they celebrated that they're going to be on a 4th season, it goes to show that, you put good show. And this one's full of politics, but it makes fun of both sides. They have a theme park at the beginning of the season where everything is woke. They marketed woke. And they do a commercial to make fun of the woke Pepsi commercial. And it's like, I like that. But they also make fun of the right, which is good too, because I don't lean one way or another. I'm like right in the middle. And I love it. And people are like, well, it's like people come up with the excuses so that they can feel better watching the show, so people from the left can watch and be like, yeah, they're just doing that because, making fun of you. Because they do. They make fun of the right with Homelander and his fake news and like the same kind of shit as Don't Look Up. That movie, they do that in there too. Everybody's getting hit, which is the best way to go. If you're not going to have one politic or the other, and you're just going to have both and make fun of both, do it. Best way to go. Show the stupidity of everybody. Deep, holy shit, Deep is fucked up. He's an idiot. He's like this sniveling little bitch. I wonder what he's like in a comic book. I can't wait to read the graphic novels to see how different the characters are. Because Noir is cool, but like, that's fucked up, Noir. Right? We get an idea of what happened to him, and it's messed up. This show is messed up. And the fact that, like, Huey is already, like, long past gotten over his girlfriend being ran through by A-Train makes me a little mad. Because now this thing won't happen to him, where his girlfriend now is going to get brutally murderized like that. We don't know. Anything could happen, right? The show is definitely unpredictable. Like, I still feel that the heroes are in peril, because you never know when they're going to just drop. You don't know. It's Garth Ennis. He wrote the story. You don't know if they're going to just feels like dropping somebody just because. Right? Like, what are they supposed to do against superheroes? Like, yeah, Butcher had temporary V, and so did Huey. But now what? Now that that's not an option, what are they going to do? You know, like, I can't wait for season 4 to see what happens. But, you know, if you guys aren't watching The Boys and you're a fan of comic books, you're a fan of gore, you're a fan of fucking action, watch The Boys. The first season was hilarious. It's all good. I haven't been upset about anything about this except for Butcher is the most inconsistent character. He seems like he's got this idea of what he wants to do, but he doesn't seem to be trying to do it properly. Like, it's like he's almost his worst enemy for trying to accomplish what he's trying to accomplish. Someone who is hell-bent on killing superheroes, especially Homelander, you figure he'd have some kind of fucking super meticulous thing instead of jumping on the first thing that comes up. Like, some kind of... Anyways, we'll wait to see what happens next. I want to touch on... This will be the last subject before... last two subjects before my recipe. And we're coming up on an hour and 20 minutes. AEW. I am a huge wrestling fan. I've been watching wrestling since as far back as I can remember. I remember watching Saturday night stuff for WCW or WWF. I watched Raw almost since its inception. I watched Nitro almost since its inception. In Quebec, we didn't have stations that gave us NWA. TSN barely played wrestling. It was like, we're a sports network. Fuck you, alright? No sport is better or more fun to watch than wrestling. Alright? No one's changing the channel unless it's like, you know, a women's match to see what's going on another channel because they don't like the score or something. People are watching wrestling. Anyways. And, you know, I'm a fan of Bret Hart. I was a huge fan of Hogan and Warrior. That was cool. You know, you hate the heels, you love the faces. I wouldn't say I was a smart mark. I'm a mark. Hands down. I love wrestling for wrestling. And somewhere along the lines when Triple H was constantly being the world champ and using his famous finisher, the sledgehammer, I stopped watching wrestling. TNA wasn't available on our networks, so I only got to see their pay-per-view for a summer because for whatever reason, pay-per-view was unscrambled on... That's how old I am. Pay-per-view was unscrambled on my TV. Not because I had the box. For one summer, it was just unscrambled. So I got to watch like full-blown porn and wrestling. WWF, TNA. It was great. Movies that I haven't seen yet. It was awesome. No green broad getting pounded by a skiggly, squeezy line green dick. It was fucking great. Or like a turquoise lady. Basically, it's the colors inverted, right? So after this long pause of not watching wrestling, AEW comes up. I'm like, oh shit, Chris Jericho. Hey, I know who Kenny Omega is. I mean, I've heard of him, but like, I've never seen his matches. And you're saying with this new show, I'll be able to watch Kenny Omega. And who are these young bucks? Oh, they travel with Kenny. Maybe they're good. And Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is slightly entertaining. I don't know who this Cody Rhodes is. I mean, I saw him in a match with Rey Mysterio where he was wearing a mask. It was weird. But maybe this is better. Oh, hey, look, Goldust, but as Dustin. Sure. Ooh, Hikaru Shida. That is some hot Japanese pussy right there. Oh, yeah. Brandy. Sure, whatever that is. You know, and you start, you know, like, oh, this is going to be great. When does it start? Oh, October. Fantastic. So I call up my network. I look around, do some research. Is TSN getting it? Yes, TSN's getting it. Okay, well, we don't have cable, so I went and called the cable company. I'm like, what's your cheapest package so I can get the sports network? Oh, it's this. Sure, do that. Oh, I can record at the same time. Nice, I'll take that. All right, cool. Now I could watch AEW. So I missed the first episode, but I watched every episode after for 2 straight years. And wow, what a decline. At first it was, this is a sports, folks. This is a sport event. You got to win. You hear JR, and like you hear JR. I haven't heard JR since I was a young adult. Oh my God, 22 years old is probably the last time I listened to JR announce a match. I was like, oh my God, JR's back. At the first, he wasn't really like enthused. It's like he was missing a beat, and it took a while before he got it. And Tony Schiavone, I'm like, Tony Schiavone, nice. Man, these guys were the voice of my youth. This is what I heard. Monday I would hear Raw with Jerry Lawler and JR. And then Tuesday would be Nitro because that's when TSN would play on fucking Tuesday. So when Bischoff's like, right now on Raw, this is happening. I'm like, no, I saw that yesterday, dum-dum. So on Nitro it would be Tony Schiavone and Bobby Heenan and Mike Tenay or Larry Zbyszko or sometimes Jesse Ventura or some other person. Or even Dusty Rhodes sometimes. That was great, baby. So I've been watching, listening, and it's like a serious thing. You know, the referee's being a hard ass. No, you can't tag in. Your feet have to be on the apron. There are a couple of matches that go over TV time remaining or time limit. That's it. It comes out as a draw. I'm like, fuck. Oh, this is good. This is good. And the wins, they were something. Like jabronis weren't winning. Yeah. Then some of the tag matches, the VIP. No, not VIP. Is it VIP? Who are they? Isaiah Cassidy and the other guy. Are they VIP? Maybe. If that's what they were, good. If not, shit. And the Young Bucks. Oh, those are fucking entertaining matches. I was like, holy shit. Then you hear Excalibur. Tope Suicida. I'm like, oh yeah. It used to be a suicide dive, but sure. Tope Suicida. Tope Cornero. I'm like, Tope Cornholio? Okay. The Burrito Buster. The Taco Twister. I love these wrestling move names. Then it was like, and SCU. Oh my God, Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian, fucking phenomenal. These matches were to die for. Frankie and Scorpio put on great matches. And same with that other guy who's part of SCU. Christopher Daniels. He's phenomenal. And people were like, well, you could have watched him in TNA. I didn't have TNA. It wasn't on a network I could watch. Fuck. Now it is. But I don't even watch it anymore. I'm waiting till everything's on Fight. I'm waiting for AEW to be on Fight. I don't have it anymore. But when Fight's available in Canada for AEW, oh, I'm fucking getting it. You guys better fucking work on that, you idiots. But they quickly got rid of that. There was no more winning at the draw. You have people like the Lucha Brothers tagging in the middle of the ring. In the middle of the ring. Like the dude is in the middle between 2 posts on the apron tagging in. Ray Phoenix. I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's in the middle of the fucking ring. He's not even nowhere near the corner. He's definitely not holding on to no corner tag rope. What the hell is that shit? The Young Bucks come in. What's going on? Flippy dippies. I'm like, no, this is supposed to be a real fight. What happened? Whoa. Whoa. I feel like I fell asleep for a couple episodes and all of a sudden it's Cirque du Soleil. I'm like, no. This is supposed to be a real fight, a real contest. You're supposed to do whatever you can to win because you want to be the champ because the champ gets paid the most. Did you guys not see Nick Aldis on NWA? You guys unfamiliar with how this shit works? The only person who was doing the shit right on AEW was Cody. And then they booed him for it. He was the only one. Jon Moxley can't put on a match. You watch his match? I was like, oh, I like the... I would listen to the remark from... I can't remember his name. Little Karibo. If you haven't listened to the remark from Little Karibo, you should go see. I'll see if I can put a link in the description. And yeah, I'll do that. Fuck it, why not? And he goes on to talk about Dean Ambrose, and he does these like things that he says, and it's hilarious. He's funny. I'm like, oh, good. And his promos are very good. His matches are atrocious. Can you imagine he's the world champion, and he walks around like he invented the Vince McMahon walk. And like he's a big tough guy, and maybe he is. I don't see it, but maybe he's a big tough guy. But I'm like, I don't buy it. He looks like an out of shape drunk guy. He would have been great maybe 20 years ago, but I don't think he'd ever been a world champion. And here he is, world champion. I'm like, why? You guys watching his matches? They're awful. His match with Pac was was great, but I think it's because Pac was there with the match. It was fantastic. Then you see his match with Darby Allin, His match with Kenny Omega, Kenny Omega, tag team champs with Hangman Adam Page was fantastic. But what the hell was the whole thing with Adam Page? What was his thing? Why was he acting like a sad sack drunk? What was the end game for that? I don't get it. And then Matt Hardy comes. And I'm like, yeah, Matt Hardy. Fuck, I never got to see the whole broken Matt. And Jericho made fun of him and then lost all luster. And then they did the thing where Matt was just different versions in one match. I thought it was funny. But it is a contest. They are trying to win the match. And yes, there's a place for sideshow shit like this, but not in the main event. That's like maybe for the halftime point, you know, or like the before main event shit, so people can like unwind with hilarity. But holy fuck, what happened? He became Broken Matt to Matt version 2.0 or 2.1 or whatever, and then or version 1, and then other one, all these different versions. And he was a heel, and then a face, and then back to a heel, owning his HFO. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then finally his brother comes. Oh, Jeff Hardy's here. Oh, cool. So we're going to get the Hardley boys. And then we have the Young Bucks. And what the hell? Young Bucks and Kenny O'Houlihan's have not been seen in forever. I can't believe the Young Bucks were tag team champions. Why are you putting this on FTR? FTR is fantastic. The Butcher and Blade, the biggest jabronis in that fucking company. The Butcher looks like M. Bison if he picked up weights. Not M. Bison. Eggman. Dr. Robotnik. If you lift up weights. Like, yeah, man. Fucking biggest pussy in that whole thing gets beat up by women. The women's champ. Who was it before? Britt Baker. Oh, why? She spends half the time talking at the camera instead of fighting. Like, stop talking to the camera. You're in a fight. Like, who are you fighting? Fucking imbeciles? Glass jaws? What the hell is going on? She's talking to the camera like it's like having a conversation. Like she's having a podcast with the camera. By the way, this is the bitch I just slapped. It was a black girl, too. I couldn't believe it. Kept talking. I'm like, no, get back in the fucking match, you idiot. I can't stand Britt Baker. And then who they put it on? Thunder Rosa. Oh, my God. Not my champ. No thanks. Something sketchy about Thunder Rosa. Like, I know that whole thing with her and Ivelisse, but Ivelisse seems more real than Thunder Rosa does. And now there's another person talking about how Thunder Rosa's shit. And I'm starting to believe that look, if 3 or 4 people have the same idea of one person, then there must be something going on somewhere. I used to love AEW. I can't watch it no more, but at the very least, I can just listen to Jim Cornette shit on it, I feel better about myself, and I know what's going on. Twinkle Toes McFinger Bang. I can't wait to hear this guy come up again. I haven't been a while. It hasn't been for a while. And the Good Brothers, they're back at TNA. Ring of Honor thing is look like it could be like a good SmackDown Raw kind of thing going on for AEW, but well, I'm sorry, I don't have enough time to watch all these things. Now I'm gonna start watching NWA. It's available on YouTube. I can watch all the past episodes, no problem. I don't have to worry about DVRing and I didn't do TSN 4 and that's the one it was on. I only did TSN 3. Oh, yay. Thank you so much, TSN, you fucking assholes. Now we're going to picture-in-picture, and there's no picture-in-picture. Thank you, JR. I didn't see the picture-in-picture. Alright, I'm going to tell you about my local pickups now. I'm done bitching about AEW being shortcomings. I like Orange Cassidy. He's in better shape than Adam Cole. Adam Cole looks like Michael Cole could kick his ass. That's kind of sad. I like Jungle Boy. I wish he'd would have taken those acting lessons seriously when his father told him that's what he should probably do. I think there's at first I hated Orange Cassidy. I'm like, what the fuck is this? But then I got behind it. He's actually one of the 2 only action figures I own from AEW. I have Orange Cassidy and Hikaru Shida. My son's like, hey, why did you get a girl? I'm like, what? This is Hikaru Shida. This is the only woman's champion of any credibility. Now, I have no idea if she's credible because everyone else around her is putting on a good show. Serena Deebs looks like she's a really good wrestler. And their matches were great. But I thought Hikaru Shida was pretty good. Maybe I have just my Asian fetish. That could be it too. I'm enjoying Jericho and everything he's doing. MJF, well, I don't care. Like, if he's really that braggadocious that he thinks he's the shit, but his storylines are always the same. Someone has to go through some kind of trials to get to a match to him, and then finally they do it. Wardlow, Jericho, CM Punk. Like, CM Punk should have been the smarter one of all of them. I'm not fucking doing that. I'm just gonna shit on your matches while you have them. And MJF barely wrestles. Like, he's useless. Darby Allin's great, but his career is going to be cut short. The Young Bucks, at first I thought were really cool, but after you get past the flippy dippies and their Meltzer driver is awful, they never landed properly. The Lucha Brothers, they're great, but I don't know. Something about them is off. Ray Phoenix keeps getting hurt. I love the whole thing where Penta says, that's great. Andre El Idolo, what the fuck is this? I'm Sancho. Okay? Are you Sancho? No? That's right, because I'm the Sancho. I don't know if you guys saw Orgasmo, but that's all I can think about every time Andre talks. I can think of Sancho. Okay, you're hired. Be in my porn. Orgasmo, great movie by the guys who did South Park. Go watch it. That and Basketball. Oh my god. Awesome movies. Andre Idolo, I don't know why he's there. He's a WWE grab that was just useless. Miro was good. It was a stupid name, but Miro was good. His constant talk about how he's got to punch God in the dick makes me laugh every time, but we don't see him anymore. Sammy Guevara needs to stop sticking his tongue out. He looks like an idiot. It's like he doesn't know how to be or how to... He should get like acting lessons just to get his stage presence, because he doesn't have one. Sticking your tongue out, you look stupid. And the whole thing with Ty Conti and the frumpy girl from before, no. Keep your personal shit out. You proposed to her, she said yeah, and it looked weird. It was awful. Awful all the way around. Should not have done that. Jake Hager? Why isn't he winning matches? Like, he's undefeated in UFC. What the fuck, guys? He's a crony for Jericho. Yay. A bitch who does nothing. Dustin's good. I love... Oh, what's his name? Dude who eats apples. God. Balding. They had a thing with him and the bunny for a while, and that disappeared fast. Oh, QT Marshall. God, I love that guy. He's got in-ring character. Him and Colt Cabana, they'd be great together. Where's Colt Cabana? He was in NWA. He was a fucking national champion, or one of them like worker champions in NWA. And what the fuck did he do since he got to AEW? Nothing. Guy's hilarious in the ring. Nothing. I guess CM Punk quashed that when he came in. Still butthurt for whatever fucking baby la la shit they went through. And I enjoyed... I think Luchasaurus... I think his matches should be different. He's physically able to do all this stuff, and so was Andre. Not all the shit that he's able to do. Andre Giant was physically able to actually have wrestling matches, but you don't need a guy like that to do wrestling matches. If someone the size of if you get kicked in the face, period, if someone thrust kicks you in the face, you're not standing there all groggy. You're falling down. So all these super kicks, not only is it tarnish anything that Shawn Michaels ever did, and I'm not a fan of Shawn Michaels, but you give credit where credit is due. People are staggered after being hit in the face by a foot going at that velocity. You take someone's head off, they would fall backwards. What they're not selling. Sell it. Fucking idiots. You don't take 100 kicks to the face and come back the next week with no bruise. Idiots. Idiots. But if someone the size of Luchasaurus kicks you in the face, you should be dead or close to it. Hey, whip kicks the two guys and then just come up like a few minutes later. No, that's it. Someone that big kicks you with velocity, you're finished. Stop this shit. Guys, plan your matches a little bit better. It's so frustrating because you see these people and you're like, oh, okay, I like these guys. They're more entertaining to watch than whatever WWE is doing with the, oh, we like Roman Reigns. He's going to be the best. Fuck everybody else. No, Roman Reigns is boring. Oh, no, he does good promos now. Nepotism, and he's boring. I don't give a fuck. You know, when Brock Lesnar's coming in and he's scared to be in a match with Roman Reigns, it's when I changed the channel. It's like when Edge was a competitor against The Undertaker. The Undertaker at some point was like a punishment from the general manager of Raw. All right, player, you guys are going to fight The Undertaker and Kane. Get ready. And Edge and Christians basically shit their pants. Now Edge is a contender for The Undertaker, and not just a match, but a Hell in the Cell. What the fuck is that? No. You know who's got noodlier arms than the fucking guy in The Boys? Edge. Well, Edge got big shoulders and he's tall. And The Undertaker's what? Edge is a great athlete. I don't give a shit. I'm watching it as a fan. I don't care what the fuck Edge can do. I don't care if he's a ring general. I don't care if this guy puts together the best matches ever. For me to watch a match with Edge versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell, and I need to believe that Edge actually has a chance, he had to have blindsided The Undertaker at some point before the match in order to have an advantage. Did they do that? No. How the hell does someone like Edge stand up against The Undertaker? I don't know, but they did it. And I'm like, this is stupid. I don't know why I'm watching it. And it was an awful match. And that's what AEW feels like a lot of the time. Just these awful matches. Who the fuck is Daniel Garcia? Why the fuck are they a thing? I love it, because they're nobodies, and they just went from nobodies to being a thing. That's hilarious. It just shows you that all the other guys in, like, the power plant, or the Cody Rhodes power plant, or the QT Marshall power plant, or the Taz power plant, Ricky Stark should be a fucking star. This dude's got Rock Jr. written all over his face. He can do it. And they're not doing anything with him. He was FTW champ. They gave it to Hook. The fuck is this? Danhausen was hilarious. This guy was about to quit wrestling. And what they do, he's even dumber than Orange Cassidy. Oh my God. Can we do something with these guys? It's so frustrating. So frustrating. Anyways, enough about AEW there. Gives me a hate boner stick in my own ass. Alright, these are my pickups for this week. A lot of the shit is missing. And now there's a lot of shit I can't read. It's on the side. I have a stack of cannot read because I don't have the shit in order. But this week I got Spider-Man 2099 Exodus Alpha. I've read the other ones. Because it's 1, 2, and 3. But Alpha I finally got now. So now I'll be able to read this shit. Now, I only ordered this. The only reason I got this is because I used to have Nightwing. And I got tired of Tom Taylor because he's this fucking stupid idiot. But I specifically ordered this cover for issue 94. And it is the Jamal Campbell color. Jamal is starting to become the new J. Scott Campbell. Unless Jamal Campbell is J. Scott Campbell. But they're very sexual. It's Dick and Babs. And she's all like skanking looking. It looks like a great cover. Even if the story inside is shit, at least the cover is fucking fantastic. Gunslinger Spawn number 10. This is on the chopping block. I may not get Gunslinger anymore. I don't like the character too much. Flash 784. Even if this is shit, I still get Flash because this is the one I'm just going to keep getting. Adams isn't a bad writer. I just think it's a victim of circumstance right now, and we're patiently waiting for shit to get back on track. Carnage. Now, this one's written by Ram V. I hate that guy, and I didn't ask for this book, and I don't want this book. I have Carnage 1, 2, and 4 now. I don't want it, but thank you, Captain Quebec. I didn't fucking want that one. Spawn 331. This is good, but the problem with Spawn stories is they're very slow. Spawn is like going through the motions at work. And that one day you're sick is the day you stop getting Spawn. But that's the issue where every fucking thing happens. And you're like, ah, shit, and you go back into it. Flashpoint Beyond number 3. Really derpy Superman on it. Hopefully Jeff Johns... Jeff Johns delivers. We're not fools. We know this is going to be good. Flashpoint is one of my favorite stories from DC. I'm sure this is going to be great. Thomas Wayne as Batman is my favorite Batman. He fucking kills people. Spider-Man 2099 Exodus number 4. This has been a very lackluster series. I hate it. And this is the second time I get excited for a 2099 and it's hot garbage. This is no different. The last series that came out just about after Absolute Carnage was hot garbage. I don't know why I keep thinking this is going to be great. I should just stick to older books. I should just back issues. Alright, The Scorched, number 8. This is essentially the super far in the future sequel of Spawn, King Spawn, and Gunslinger Spawn. Making anything that happens in those books stupid because it could just be retconned or not at all serious because of Scorched. So like Scorch is the now and everything else is the before. Anyways, I don't know how they're going to keep this up. I don't know which one I should get rid of. I have to get rid of one of them or two of them. Anyways, Army of Darkness versus Reanimator, number 1. Necronomicon Rising. I got the really gross cover. I didn't choose it. With Ash's head in a pan with all these injector thingies coming in his head. I don't know who Reanimator is. I'm assuming it's another movie I didn't get a chance to see growing up. I'll have to go look into that. Jennifer Blood, number 10. She seems to have some kind of weird daddy issue with porn stash. I hope I'm wrong about it. King Spawn, number 12. It's been a whole year for King Spawn. I think it's my favorite Spawn story. So I'm looking forward to diving into that. Vampirilla, year 1. I am not a fan of Christopher Priest's writing. It's back and forth. It reminds me of the first time I saw Highlander and how confusing as shit that was. But at least that was cool. Vampirilla is cool, but let's not forget, Chris Priest writes a love interest in a sex scene with Vampirilla with a gay dude. So basically, like, it was like a slap in the face. Venom, Lethal Protector number 4. I believe this is from Michelini, who used to write Spider-Man and other stuff. So this is right up his alley, but it's not bad. It has definite ties and nods to the 90s, and it feels like a 90s book, but it's sure taking its slow-ass time to get to a point. Godzilla vs. the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, a Boom and IDW crossover. Well, I don't like Power Rangers written by Perot because, like most comics these days, it takes forever to get to a point. 8 issues to fucking finish it, but because this is a mini-series, you don't have 8 issues, motherfucker. You have 6, and you gotta tell a whole complete story in those 6. That's why I get these things. These crossover miniseries, it's just fan service for 6 issues. Why wouldn't you want that? The Turtles Power Rangers crossover? Holy shit. I never thought I needed something so much in my childhood ever. Except until I read that. Holy balls. Unfortunately, the Transformers Back to the Future crossover was fucking shit. But the Justice League Power Rangers crossover was amazing. She-Hulk number 5. Well, at least the cover has a little bit of a lacy bra. And she looks good. But she's... looking forward to the dialogue in that one. And, oh boy, this is what I've been looking forward to. Although I have to say that the main character is fuck ugly. Do a Power Bomb issue 2. I can't wait to see if they still not SJW this shit up. Fingers crossed, because you don't know. You never fucking know with these people, right? Alright, we're reaching the end. It's been long enough, almost 2 hours. I'm going to hit up... I would love to do this forever. I didn't need any lubrication from my throat, so we're good to go. I'm going to finish up with a recipe. Like I said earlier, this recipe is the Sean Connery of entrees. I make this sometimes just for me, and I have it as a meal the next day. It is so fucking good. In fact, I'm going to make it for me again tonight. I think I have all the ingredients. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to look into that. Alright, so what you'll need to prepare this. I'll write it in the description, don't worry. You need a tub of sour cream. I usually get 14% because it's thicker. A tub, 500 milliliters or 2 cups. 3/4 of a package, or the full package, depends how you feel, of cream cheese. So a brick. If you're like, I bought the tub though, it's the same thing. You can look at the volume of each one when you're at the store. It's the same fucking thing. So a brick of cream cheese. This is where I started to invent. The original recipe called for taco seasoning. And you could do this, but I would advise against it. It has a weird, tangy flavor. The first time I did it with this recipe, but then I altered it myself, and this is what I put. So I put half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of paprika. If you have smoked paprika, it's much better. A tablespoon of garlic powder, onion powder, and chili powder. A teaspoon of each, yeah. The chili powder, you can go a tablespoon, but I'll start with a teaspoon, and then as you blend it, taste it to see. And a tablespoon of garlic powder, onion powder, and chili powder. A teaspoon of cayenne pepper. You can add more, taste it to see if it's to your liking. Oh, and cumin. I didn't write down cumin. Half a teaspoon of cumin. Once you put all that stuff in, use the beaters to beat it all together. Mix it. I would suggest to make sure everything is at room temperature, especially the cream cheese. Because you're going to beat it, you're going to get lumps, and it's going to suck. If you want to get rid of the lumps, you can put it in the oven and let it melty-ish it a bit. Or you can do something even more creative. Once you put your toppings on top, you can put a layer of shredded mozzarella and stick that in the oven. It'll melt on top and no one will notice the gross clumps. No one will taste it because it's heaven. Now it's not finished. 1 pound of ground beef, you brown it. Obviously, you're not putting that shit in raw. What kind of idiot are you? Come on, guys. We're supposed to be the people that cook these days. Women don't know how to do shit. Their idea of cooking is like ordering skip the dishes or some crap. It's not how you fucking cook. Oh, I cook. You know, women are like, I can cook. Oh, yeah, well, what? Lipton sidekicks. Oh, no, I mean, seriously, can you do a roux? Do you know that you should put the salt in once the water is boiled for pasta? And it should be like, you know, a heaping amount of salt. You know, do you know what a rubber spatula is? You know, these are questions that you need to know the answer to if you want to consider yourself someone who could cook. Basically, the way I say it is, do you have an item that you could bring to a party and people are going to be like, yo, man, this is the shit? If your answer is no, then you don't know how to cook. You know how to read instructions and follow something. This one is a custom recipe that I ate, modified, and perfected. So once the beef is brown, you can drain it. I don't. I'm lazy like that. And then you put about 3/4 of a regular sized jar of Tostitos salsa. You can use any salsa you like, but I prefer Tostitos. Also, it doesn't really matter the temperature level. As you're cooking it, the spiciness dissipates. And plus, we're putting a fuckload of cream cheese and sour cream. Ain't no... it could be spicy and no one will know. I use hot salsa, but you can use mild. It'll be the exact same thing. Once that's together, you mix the salsa and the beef together, right? You let it simmer. When it starts to bubble, I put it on the lowest heat setting and I let it sit for about 5-6 minutes. And then I cut up the jalapeno, a small tomato, and get out your hottest sauce. If you don't have a hot sauce, that's okay. You don't need to. This is optional. Once everything's done and the simmered and the meat absorbed the salsa, you put on the bottom layer of a big fucking dish the salsa. Now you could do this, you don't have to, but you can shred some cheese and put it on top of that and stick it in the oven to melty it. It makes it difficult for people to dig in though. That cheese layer will eventually not be hot and it'll be hard to dig in with a chip. So I avoid this one. Then you put the sour cream cheese topping. Make sure that after you've mixed it with all the spices that you taste it. And if something's missing, it's most probably... It's not... What should it taste like? The cumin should make it taste a little weird and tangy. It'll taste weird, but altogether, even by itself later, it'll be fine once the flavor's settled. I find cumin gives it a weird tang, but it's necessary. The only thing that's missing in this recipe that would be in the taco mix I can think of would be maybe tomato paste and cilantro or coriander. I hate that, so I don't put it in. But Spanish people love that shit, and they'd be like, with their Spanish accent, I'm not going to do it because I know people are going to like try to cancel me for doing it, but you know, they'd be like, hey man, the fuck is this, the cilantro? You're like, it's not there. No, you just ruined the recipe. Fuck them, this is Tex-Mex. They can blow me. And you know what? You gotta be careful with Spanish ladies, though. You could sneeze on them, and those bitches get pregnant fast. So, at all times, wear a rubber when you're around Spanish ladies. Even if you're not fucking them, just wear one, just in case. But no, impossible. I had a rubber on the whole time. What? Yeah, you heard me. I wrap it even when the shit's not happening. So once the meat's done, you layer at the bottom, and then you layer the sour cream on top. Your diced tomatoes and jalapeno you spread evenly on top of the sour cream cheese topping. And you could shred some cheese and put it on top, throw it in the oven to melty it a bit if you want. You don't need to. You could just leave the shredded cheese on top just like that. You don't need to melt it. What I like to do is I like to take my hottest sauce and dump a bunch of it right in the middle. Like right in the middle. I had what was it? Blue Plague. And I just dumped the shit out of it right in the middle. I'm like, there you go. It's fucking hot sauce for you pussies. And there you go. You serve that with some que-pasa nachos or some Tostitos. Don't use Doritos. Don't use a flavored Tostito like a lime or a jalapeno or the artisan Tostitos. It's not good. Plain nachos in this dip, and you will be the king shit of the party. You will not even know Not even know. Women will blow you for this. Gay women will blow you for this. Gay dudes will blow you for this. Straight dudes will blow you for this. Hey man, you are going to get blown all over the place. You bring this to a party and wash, you are going to get laid. Could be your girlfriend, could be your girlfriend's friend. Who knows? I know that this shit is good. I can't bring anything else. Every time there's a party, yo, Dead Mayo, you going to bring your Mexican dip? Obviously, don't call me Dead Mayo. That'd be weird. But for the sake of, my identity, my secret identity, I'm like, well, I was thinking of bringing a blooming onion. No. But I have a fryer. No. But it's really, no. You got to bring this dip. Fine. I have friends that are lactose intolerant will take Lactaid and eat this shit. That's how good. Actually, it's the same idiot. The same guy is like, bring it. I'm like, but you're lactose intolerant. I'm intolerant of your lactose. Bring it, fucker. Anyway, so that's it. I think that's long enough. Oh, you know what? Could I just maybe kill 5 minutes to make it right to the 2-hour mark? I mean, might as well, right? I'm here talking. Oh, yep. All right. My pull list, though, I wasn't done. I got the all-new Savage Avengers written by Pepsi. I have 2 and 3, not 1, so I can't read it. Deadpool Bad Blood. I have 2 and 3, not 1. Can't read it. Vampirella Strikes 3. I didn't get 2 yet. Can't read it. Amazing Spider-Man number 6 or Legacy 900. I don't have 5, so I can't read it. Thank you so much, Captain Quebec. I know my orders are really big, but can you maybe focus when you pull my pull list? Is it so complicated? Next time I'm there, I'm going to ask them what their system is and see if I can program a way to make it better, because holy shit, I love having a stack of comics I can't read, especially Spider-Man 900. Oh my god, please. I love that part. I like to see how he's going to... The next part where I don't see what happens between him and Tombstone. No. I love that. Please. Why don't you just dunk your balls right on my mouth? Fuck. Oh, Vampirella. Oh, I love to see what kind of shit she gets into. Can't read it. I have to go to Chris Priest's year 1. Thank you so much. And I'm missing some books. I was missing... I can't touch it. I can't. I was missing... Mighty Morphin Godzilla number 1. I asked for 2 sets of this series. So I'm missing number 1. Because my kid wants his own set. So I got him his own set. Number 1, I'm missing... the ones I said for those ones that I couldn't read. So I'm missing number 5 of Amazing Spider-Man. And they sent me shit I didn't even ask for. And I'm like, oh, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a fucking lot. Was there something new? Yeah, Venom. Venom number 9. Oh, Eddie Brock is back. Thank you. And you send me this shit. Anyways. Comic books, am I right? And then Imaginaire. If I went with Imaginaire, this would happen all the time. I sent them an email saying, hey, man, did you guys fix your box problem? Because as much as Captain Quebec was nice, like, look, what happened was they boxed my shit. They wrote my address because they were shipping it to me for $25. Shit. There was a customer there who's a good friend of the owner. And he said, hey, I live in the city. I'll bring it to him. I'm like, oh my God. Awesome. And I gave him $5. I mean, look, I saved $25. So I gave him $5 for his inconvenience. But oh my God, that was great. But I don't want to go downtown Montreal every fucking time. So I'm trying to find a way on the South Shore. There's comic book shops here, but how good are they at the comic book thing? I don't know. I want to go check it out and find out what's what. I have Maynard's. There's Imaginaire, but they were awful. They were awful. This shit happened all the time. I'd get issue 2, but not 1 of Back to the Future Transformers. I'm like, well, I can't read it. I got Flash. I was still missing Flash 775. 785 is coming out. Well, I have it, right? No, 785 is next month. Which one is it now? 784. Yeah, so 785. 10 issues ago, almost a year ago, I never got 775. Still mad about it. Looking around to get it. No one knows shit. Anyways, this is the halfway mark of of the last minute before 2 hours flat. Let's see if I can stop it right at the right moment, huh? We're getting there close. So anyways, assholes, thanks a lot for listening and coming. I don't know. Hey, man, write that this is good. So that's why I can keep doing it. There's 2 hours of talking I could totally do. I have so much to say and no one to talk to about it. That's what's great about the comic book community. It's a community.